Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Unscripted. And today, well, with Amy Kruzik, Amy Kruzik and
David Ellis.
we were laughing, so I was laughing through that whole intro. Okay, so today we're going to talk about morality, morals, and morale.
Yeah, specifically your morale, actually.
My morale.
Not your morale, their morale, the audience's morale.
Oh yes.
Okay, so
tell us. Give us some definitions of morality. Of course, right or wrong. Good
your
and bad.
sense of morality is your sense of right and wrong, good and bad actions.
Yeah, actions. Oh.
Yes, and people don't know the difference between morality and morals. Now, morality deals with the sense of the thing. Morals deal with the lessons that form the basis of morality. So, throughout our entire existence, we have realized that killing a bunch of people may not be the brightest idea for society. You got to bury them, that kind of thing. Right. So, we develop a sense of morality, and then we codified it into the Ten Commandments, our system of law.
Oh, yeah.
Hammurabi created a basic legal system, and we kind of copied it. And yeah, your morale with an E at the end is an indicator of your sense of enthusiasm for life, your joie de vivre, right? So morale tends to suggest that you have a willingness to do things, be things, be all that you can be, join the army or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that was a good tagline for the Army, wasn't it?
Yeah. Be all that you can be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know if it works today.
I don't know. I definitely think it doesn't work today.
I
They're
don't
gonna have
think
to
so.
change that tagline. Be all that you can be,
Yeah.
but you might die in the process. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Well,
Where you want to start?
Well, I don't know. Let's start, of course, with people. Well, how about religion and spirituality with morality? Because I know I grew up with religion and then spirituality. So I've seen the timeline of that for me.
Well, here's the thing. Morality is a very complicated question. A lot of people tend to think that morality is just a cut and dried question, but it's complicated. Maybe we should go, when I think of morality, I think of the morality philosophers. Okay, so maybe we should set some ground rules first of all.
Okay.
All right, ground rules. This show is not a show about judgment, but we can give you markers on which to judge morality and right and wrong actions.
Yeah.
So let's go by Immanuel Kant, who is one of the morality philosophers that forms our Western ideas about morality. Immanuel Kant said, for an action to be moral and just and a good action, it has to fulfill three criteria. I've taught this so many times right now. I know it by heart.
I know you have.
Right?
In your
It
class.
has to fulfill three criteria. The first criteria is that the action has to be reversible, which means that if you do it to others, you should have it done to yourself. Oh boy, we're going to get into the meat of that in a while.
Ooh.
The second requirement is that the action had to be universally applied. So if the action was correct in Italy, it should be correct in America, it should be correct on Pluto and in the heavenly realms.
Okay.
The third requirement is that for an action to be moral, just, and good, it had to be done in the spirit of freedom, meaning that there should be no coercion when you are doing something good, or else it's not a good action. Now, you see how that complicates everybody's life, right?
Yes. What do you consider a good action? Right?
If it's done in the spirit of freedom and you're not coerced, then you have a good action. However, if you have coercion, then you are not doing something that is inherently good. Okay, so
Oh.
That's one philosophy of good and right and wrong and morality. Here's another one that I use, and that is John Stuart Mill's. And he says, for an action to be a right and a good action, it is the action that serves the greater good. And when he says the greater good, he doesn't necessarily mean some sort of ethereal idea of goodness. What he means, more people benefit as a result of your action than less. It's a quantification, right? So that's the greater good. Okay, and the last morality philosophy that we're going to deal with is the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which is pretty much the first rule of Immanuel Kant, which is the reversibility rule. Okay, you want to explore this?
Oh, okay. Because isn't that from the Bible? Do unto others is,
Correct.
yeah. So, okay. Go ahead. Let's do it.
Okay, so I suppose the first question I'm going to have to ask you, Amy, is paying tax a good action, morality wise?
Paying tax.
Paying taxes, correct. Because it fails the last test of Immanuel Kant. It's not done in the spirit of freedom.
Yeah.
You see, I'm gonna can I just throw a few
Okay.
situations
Well,
at you,
yeah, you can, but wait a minute. Hold on. Paying taxes. All right. So, isn't there like individual and collective as a collective?
Amy?
A what?
When you go to the department store and pay taxes
I
on
know.
a piece of clothing or whatever
Yeah.
else, or whether you go to the IRS or whatever the case may be, um, you are actually creating an action that is not in the spirit of freedom. You're doing it because you are coerced to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
So it's something that you have to do. It's not something that you want to
To
do.
do.
So it's not
Well,
actually an inherently good action. You're doing it just because you want to stay out of jail.
well, yes, of course.
Okay.
Oh,
So you see how complicated morality becomes. I'm going to throw another scenario at you, which is a popular scenario nowadays. Do you think that transgender women or men should disclose that they are transgender before bringing someone home from a nightclub to have any kind of sexual intimacy with them?
yes.
Okay, why?
Well, because now you're gonna check my because
I'm
it's
not checking any kind of
you're
this. I'm
checking
just trying to
you're
ask you.
checking
I'm asking you a moral question.
yeah, that for my morals, yes, you would have to disclose that.
Okay,
Otherwise, it's lies of omission.
it's a lie of omission. Okay, basically, what you're saying is that they're bringing somebody home from the club under false pretenses, correct?
Yeah.
Because the person believes that they are something that they are not.
Yes.
Pretty much like if you bring a woman home from the club and you like redheads and she has nice red hair, and then you've come to find out that it's a wig.
She has a wig. Same
So
thing.
is it the
Same
same thing or
thing.
not?
Yes, that's the same thing.
Let's say
Because
you like redheads and she's wearing a wig. It's the same thing, right?
yeah, it is.
How about this? How about you're a woman and you like not you, but all the women out there
Okay.
who are listening to this, and you like men who are employed and financially secure, and he's balling with the $1 bills or whatever, tipping everybody, and you assume that this man is rich. He's talking about his yacht, he's talking about whatever else, and you go home with him. Come to find out that he owns a fishing boat, uh, and
I don't know.
and he's in debt. Tell me,
That
is
one's a
that the
little
same
bit weird.
thing?
That's a little one. That one's a little weird because a lot of people show this kind of what's the word? Um, affluent behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see it online, right? But you don't
Mm-hmm.
really know behind the scenes. So I think that one That's
It's
one's
still false pretense, isn't
it
it?
is still false pretense. Okay. You know what's funny? Wait a minute. You know what? I was just laughing about something I saw. I don't know if it was TikTok, but they show this guy taking a girl home, and they wake up in the morning and he's on his side, and she goes, "Oh, I used to be my name used to be Christine, or no, Christian, and now I'm Christine. You can call me Christine." So I'm butchering it, but it was hilarious. So he took her home under false pretenses.
Yes. So that's false pretense. And theoretically, that should be theoretically wrong. But the fact of the matter is, most of the people who go home with people are going home under false
Yeah, they are.
pretenses,
They are.
which is why the dating world is now such a horrific situation, and everybody's like, "Yeesh,"
Yeah.
right? So there is that. Let me throw a few other things at you while we're at it. Now,
Okay.
there has been a decline in morality in society. Agreed or not agreed?
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
Okay. We see the advent of all different kinds of social illnesses coming up, vanity being one of them because of social media.
Yeah.
The funny thing about social media, I never thought that it would get to the stage where you have the TikTokers and the YouTube people jumping on, assaulting people for content, the pranksters on YouTube or whatever else, assaulting people for content and taking. What about these gym influencers? You've seen the advent of these women who go to the gym, pretend that they're being leered at by men, and posting it to their social accounts. I think part of the reason
Oh,
society has become immoral is that there is no accountability for people. So
yeah.
if you did something like that, you should theoretically be immediately sued, or there should be some punitive measure for people.
Wait, give me an example about that gym scenario.
So
Like women are actually like, look at that man, he's looking at like that,
yes,
but he's
yes,
not really.
he's not really. There's an influencer on YouTube.
Oh,
His name is Joey Swole. He
uh-huh.
calls out these women publicly and gets their accounts banned and stuff like that. But what he should be doing theoretically is referring to the individual that they are putting online on blast, and having these women suffer some sort of legal consequence as a result of it. Now, the women who are doing this, they obviously have a vanity issue. They believe that they are, oh my God, look at how cool I look, and men want me.
Yes. Yes.
And the truth of the matter is, 9 times out of 10 in their videos, the man is not looking at them whatsoever.
Yeah.
This kind of poison is bad for society because it does not serve the greater good. Because what is happening, and I see it happening in the gyms, is that men are developing an even more misogynistic outlook where women are concerned. And this is very concerning
Mm,
because misogyny is on the rise. Trust me when I tell you, is on the rise.
mhm.
I happen to be in a lot of locker rooms where there are men, whether it be in the martial arts club, whether it be in the gym locker room, and what I'm hearing is hatred.
For
It's not
women. For women.
dislike,
Yeah.
it's hatred, it's full on hatred. So what I think is that morality, the decline of morality in society, people are trying to make wrong things right nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Because they wanna feel better about themselves.
Yeah, and I think most people's idea of morality is based on utility, meaning
Mm.
that if it works for me, then it's moral. But if it ain't working for me, then no, it's wrong. It's like
Yes. Yes.
if it works for me, it's moral. But if it doesn't work for me, it's wrong. So, like, there are too many examples of that, I think.
I do. Okay, so tell me this.
Hmm.
What about so you're saying kind of like people often fail to act on their, like, moral beliefs, right?
Correct.
Such as the bystander belief,
Meaning,
meaning they don't do anything, they just watch what's happening. with a child or with a man or woman hurting another woman or something like that. So,
I honestly, Amy, I think our legal system has a lot to do with that.
yeah,
Because as a
that's true.
bystander, you are safe legally. Once you get involved, like as an example, let's say you see somebody who is washed up on the beach, the
Yeah,
person is struggling and they're drowning.
yeah.
You want to initiate CPR. You initiate CPR, even though you save that person's life. The Good Samaritan um, response.
Yeah,
That person says, "You broke my ribs," when it is that you did CPR on me. So a lot of these that has really happened,
yeah,
right? And they've taken the person who did CPR on them to court. I don't know how many of these cases are successful, right? But people have gone to court when they've tried to be a good Samaritan, and it kind of like discourages people from being good morally in a social sense.
yeah,
So when you see something happening, like a man is beating a woman on the side
yeah.
of the road, people are like, "Yep, none of my business," and they keep
Wow.
on trucking.
Yeah, I guess that's a tough call, isn't it?
It is a tough call because you have to weigh self-preservation against the simple act of being a good Samaritan or being a moral, a just person.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you do in that situation?
What would I do in that situation?
Yeah, like,
I suspect it depends on the circumstance because this is where discernment comes into play.
yeah,
You could see that some women are in distress, but if you try to help them, because I have been in situations like this before. I did work for a branch of law enforcement in an island once, right?
yeah, yeah,
And the police did not want to get involved in domestic situations because what happened is that they went in, they saved usually the woman from being assaulted or being abused. And the woman turned around and told them she did not want to press charges,
mm,
and she doesn't want to um, do anything against the man who is beating her. So the police just simply stopped helping. And it wasn't just her they stopped helping. They stopped helping anybody or any woman who called for assistance. And this is the generalization effect as
mm,
well. So
mm.
morality is situational as well. It's a difficult question, honestly, Amy. It really is.
It is. So, what about? I was just thinking, like groups of people that help somebody. Um,
Mhm.
like lift a car. Well, that's I don't know. I'm just thinking like lifting a car from a person, but I don't know. I don't
But
know.
they're subject to the same problems.
Yeah, I was just
Somebody
thinking.
has been run over by a car.
Yeah,
A bunch of people come, they help, they try to lift the car or whatever the case may
yeah,
be.
yeah.
In lifting the car, they damage the car. The owner of the car sues them.
I know. I know.
These things are real things that have actually happened, and I don't know what to say where this is concerned. I really don't. Morality is a very, very difficult thing to contemplate. It really is.
It is. Now that you're making me think about it, to me it feels more individualized,
Hmm.
acting on your own individual morals, morals, right?
Yeah, I think that when you're talking about morality and the way it has declined in society, I think one of the things that we have to take into consideration is the advent of technology, social media,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
internet, and so on. It has made morality conditional. So let me show you a few
Yeah.
instances where morality is conditional. I want to vote for a particular president or nation leader. Not that I'm mentioning any names because I hate political discussions.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I want to vote for a particular president or nation leader. The individual presents himself as evangelical or Christian, or he aligns with what I think is good.
Yeah.
And the individual themselves may not be moral, But the fact that he says that he supports a particular kind of outlook, I'm going to vote for that individual. Okay?
Right.
You see how you do a little bit of wrong to try to get a lot of right.
Yeah. But that's where the discernment comes in.
And we've come to a stage nowadays where we're so immoral that any political party that you
Yeah.
vote for is an immoral party. It really is. So
Where
this is why I hate talking about politics. I hate it because any party, it doesn't matter whether they're left, they're right, they're communist, they're socialist, they're capitalist, or whatever else. They're all immoral. They're all immoral. Like.
Okay, so are we afraid to even have a discussion on perspectives of what you believe and what I believe and what she believes and he believes? There's not those discussions anymore.
No, there's not these discussions anymore because there's a certain section of society, I'm not going to mention any names, that believes that their way of seeing the world is the right way, and they're going to cancel or seek punitive measures against anybody who speaks against it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they try to cancel you, they try to attack you online, they try to
Yeah.
dox you, they put some punitive measures. And this is the kind of thing which I don't respect. I don't respect people like
Yeah.
this at
Yeah.
all. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm going to say it, it's more along the left side of the political spectrum a lot of the time that this kind of thing comes from. Listen, if somebody disagrees with you, you argue the individual on the basis of the argument. If you try to make any punitive measures against that person, you are creating an immoral act because you would not like it done to you.
Yeah.
If Amy and I disagree all the time, yes, I don't go online and say, that
Oh,
Amy, yeah, that I don't try to lie on her, call her racist, call her fascist, call her whatever is that's trending now. What is the new
yes.
thing that right, right, racist, fascist? I don't try to do that because I know that's not true. But if I do that, probably other people will attack her, and then she will
Oh,
stay silent, and I don't have to deal with her opinion anymore. No, that is a sign of ultimate weakness. A lot of people do that nowadays. I find that disgusting. What happened to the when we could just debate?
I I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this. This was funny. And I follow this one person on Instagram. She has a podcast.
Hmm.
So she posted something, and I actually put in her comments something that was against what people were saying in the comments because I felt that I'm just going to say it.
Call it like it is. Calling a spade a
Well, a
spade.
spade is spade.
Like the last
Like
episode. Go ahead.
I did it with kindness and I did it with seeing the perspectives of it and
Hmm.
how this particular way worked for me. This was about raising kids. And these new age, I'm going to call them new age parents, but you know, they just they saw this expert out of context of what was happening.
Hmm.
And I saw what he meant. I didn't even watch her whole episode. I just watched her little clip and I got a lot from that.
Hmm.
So I put a comment in there. Now a lot of people, not a lot, but some people said thank you. And then this girl wrote this big old thing about did you hear about what he said in there about the and I forget what I said to her, but I kindly said something back to her. That's fine. That's if that use your discernment when you're parenting. If that works for you, then that works for you. Like,
Yeah, there's emotionality is high on the
yes.
internet, and they don't like any perspective. Look, I do not respect people who have a perspective. I'm going to say this out loud, and I'm going to be very, very clear. I do not respect people who have a perspective and they think that their perspective should be the only perspective, and anybody else who doesn't have any other perspective, a perspective different from them, is not right or whatever the case may be, and they will not argue with you. They will shout at you.
Yeah.
I do not respect people like that. I think
And
people like that are poison to society.
yes, and let me tell you something. She prefaced it with these, I just want to ask a gentle question. I'm
Mm.
like,
Oh
"Oh."
no, a gentle question it
It
is.
was like, Oh my God. I knew where she, and then she went off. Like, it was like, you are contrasting what you're, you know, saying here. That was
Mhm.
not a gentle question. That was not, so I don't know. It was kind
No,
of,
no, these people are toxic, and
yeah.
thankfully, I don't run into people like that. I see people trying to change society, trying to make wrong things right. Um, I see people trying to remove punitive measures from society. Like in the US right now, people are breaking into stores and so on,
Mhm.
and certain judges or whatever else are letting them go.
I know.
That's odd to me because my understanding of law is that it has to be punitive or else it does not work. Um, I see these things happening, Amy, honestly, and this is why we are in the state that we are in, because people seem to be clinging to certain kinds of belief systems, trying to shut out any kind of opposition. Look, I will debate anybody on anything underneath the sun. I have my perspective, you have your
Yeah.
perspective. The
Yeah.
situation becomes toxic when it is that you, in your emotionality, try to shut down me being able to express myself.
Yeah.
Okay? And a lot of people are guilty of that. I met this young lady, Amy, when we were starting this AI revolution.
Yeah.
I was contacted by a young lady who wanted to work with us, who
Mhm.
said, who said to me, I would like to teach your AI, meaning my AI, right? Non-violent communication. What is that? I look, okay, I may look, you know what? We're old. That's what it is. It must be that we're old. I'm not that old, but you know what?
Yeah. We're
It must be
vintage. We're
what
vintage.
what is non-violent communication? I have asked a lot of people to explain this to me. The best explanation I got, it's communication which does not seek to create a sense of unsafety in another individual. Well, that could be anything. Because let me tell you, if I tell you today, Amy, your hair looks really nice today, Amy, that might be violent
Right.
communication.
Right. You, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. So where do we
Yeah,
stand?
I'm not living like that, which
No.
I'm
No.
not living like. So my solution to this is
Yeah.
that anybody who speaks like this, I immediately dismiss you. And I'll tell you why. Because I know you're not going to have a reasoned, balanced argument with me. Because anything that I have to say is
Yeah.
going to be violent communication. Thankfully, I don't have people like this in my life,
Yeah.
right? And they know me well enough to know that I will say what I need to say.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I try to keep people like that away from me. And it's wonderful. The problem is people like that generally tend to get into like positions where you have to deal with them, and I don't want to. I don't want to. Okay. Why what happened to debate and being able to that? A lot of people are subject to immoral actions when they try to silence people. It's an immoral action. You wouldn't like it done to you. Don't do it
Mhm.
to other people.
Mhm.
Simple.
Mm.
But let's talk about a different kind of morality.
Okay.
Is it is it moral to judge another human being? Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you that I do not respect people who do not have reasoned debates. It tells me that you don't have brain power, and so you rely on emotionality and punitive measures such as trying to cancel or silence people or shout at people to make your point because you don't have what it takes to have an argument.
Yeah.
So that's a judgment that I have just made. Do I feel badly about it? Strangely, no. Because if I was acting that way, I would want that person to judge me too, to get me out of it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. So do we judge people? I think there's two sides to this. Meaning, can we judge people? I feel we can. There's not why did we make this a wrong thing? When did this become in vogue that you
Oh, I suspect it's when it started making people feel uncomfortable. You know, some people want to show up to church in a bikini. They should be able to.
well, there's a moral there's a
Some
moral
people
there,
want to show
David.
up to church in a bikini. Like, what's
Well,
the problem, right? No judgment, man. No judgment.
I
Look,
mean, yeah, God sees you on the beach in a bikini, so why not church? I guess it's the house of respect. I don't know. If my daughter did that, it'd be like, no. Am I judging her by saying, no, you cannot wear that?
hmm, hmm.
No, you can't go on a date with that outfit.
But why? Why, Amy?
Because men have different ideas in their head.
Okay. So you
That,
go to church in a bikini, two
yeah,
piece, of course. We're not talking about any one piece.
no,
You go to church in a bikini. You arrived at the altar. You're about to take the wafer
yeah.
and the blood of Christ,
Body of Christ.
body and the blood of Christ, and you're in your two-piece bikini and so on. Is that blasphemous and sacrilegious? Okay, I know what my grandmother would say, but
Yeah.
apparently nowadays it's okay to do that.
What?
I
You,
read an article. The way people are going to listen,
oh,
because their argument is God loves everybody and it
yeah.
shouldn't matter your state of dress or undress. I'm saying, okay, fine. If you were down on your luck and the only thing that was left to you was a bikini and you went into church, that is different than you deciding to get up one day in a church full of people, go up into the church with a bikini on when you have an entire wardrobe, aka
Oh,
the
yeah,
OnlyFans models that are doing nonsense on Instagram and TikTok to
yeah.
get in notoriety, infamy more than anything else, so that they could sell OnlyFans subscriptions. Which brings us to the OnlyFans argument: is OnlyFans a moral construct? Oh
What?
yeah, yeah. That's yeah, yeah. Yeah. We're getting
Well,
into that.
I personally, no. It's not a moral
You know, I,
construct.
I I've
I
grappled with this
I
moral
I
question.
just I'm not this is tough. Again, I have a daughter and a son. So, would I want them to be on OnlyFans? No. Not because of my pride or embarrassment or anything. It just doesn't seem right.
Moral.
Moral to me.
Okay, so here's how I think about the OnlyFans thing. The argument for people being on OnlyFans is that A, you shouldn't judge these women or men or whatever's on there, because they're earning a living anyhow they can. But prostitution used to be illegal before. So the argument, and I'm going to argue with myself here for
Oh,
a moment,
okay. Okay, go ahead.
right?
Go ahead.
Is that prostitution was illegal, but pornography was not illegal for people 18 years and older. And I'm going to say the following things. Based on what we see on OnlyFans, your husband, you watching this broadcast, your husband or your wife may be spending your money, the family's money, to go pay an OnlyFans model. Now, is it moral for the husband to do that? And is it moral for the person who's running the OnlyFans account to be taking money from weak minded people? You have to have a certain amount of weak mindedness to be on OnlyFans. Straight. Okay? For weak minded people, is it good for society? Is it corrupting the society? So from the OnlyFans model perspective, I am making money. I don't have to care about you.
Are they thinking that the models
Well,
or
they would
what?
have to be thinking that if they're going to continue that activity, because for sure,
What does
it,
this do to their morale? Their morale. What does this do to them?
I think that their morality would have to be questionable because, as far as they're concerned, they're surviving, which is fine. assuming that there's no other way to survive. Because let me tell you, there's a whole bunch of restaurants that are looking for
Yes.
waitresses.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
There's a whole
hostesses,
bunch of restaurants that are looking
waitresses.
for waitresses. There's a whole bunch of landscaping companies that are looking for
Yes.
people to do landscaping. But OnlyFans models make a lot of money doing this stuff, selling sexuality online. But is it a moral thing? Well, for in terms of the greater good, I don't think it's good for the greater good, because it definitely is not promoting harmoniousness in society.
Oh, yeah, no, it's probably breaking marriages up too.
Correct, because if your husband is
Or
spending the family's money
yeah,
looking for an OnlyFans model, I'm going to guess that you might be upset.
yeah.
I may be wrong. I may be
Yes.
wrong, right? But I'm going to guess that you might be upset. By that same token,
But they could be into it too, so you don't know.
yes. Now, by that same token, if you are the husband of a woman who puts herself on OnlyFans and you are unaware of it and you're collecting money, oh my God, there are so many levels of morality in that single instant that you have to examine. It's difficult, you know.
Well, we can say that there are some people that don't care. How about that? There are some husbands don't care, wives don't
Well,
care. If you're
therefore, you
making,
are immoral because you're not thinking, you're not caring, and you're not thinking, and you
yeah,
definitely don't respect the wife, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
now, is that a judgment? Yeah, it
yeah.
absolutely is. Do I feel badly about it? No.
No,
All right.
I
I
think,
don't feel badly about it.
yeah, I think as I get older, I am more vocal than say I was younger. Does
Hmm.
that make sense?
Hmm.
Because you just, as for me, as you get older, it's like I, I I'm going to speak out about this because no, I don't
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, because you reach a point in life where there's a lot of wrong stuff that you see.
Yeah.
You know it endemically in your soul that it is a wrong thing that you're perceiving. However, you remain silent because somehow or the other, the way society has silenced the majority is by saying, don't judge. Okay.
Right.
And I don't know how I feel about that.
I know. I don't think this was a thing growing up. I don't remember it. If I do, I don't remember it. I remember it in church in the religion way,
Hmm.
like love everybody,
Hmm.
but yet we were still judging after church. Like it's like I can judge if I like vanilla or chocolate. I
Yeah,
don't have
that's
to like both.
is that a preference? That is it a preference or a
Well,
judgment? So we need to clean up a few
yeah.
things there.
Yeah.
I think people conflate love everybody with the concept of judgment. All right. You can love absolutely everybody, but you can absolutely hate their actions. Okay.
Yes, the behaviors. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can absolutely hate their actions. That's the first thing.
I mean,
And they also conflate preference for judgment. Okay. So
preference for judgment. Hold on.
let's say I don't like let's say I don't like short women or tall women. Is that a judgment that I'm making of short women? Oh, these short women, they're right?
Oh, thanks.
Right. These
Okay.
short women,
Okay.
right? Or these tall men, like, or whatever. There's such a thing called preference, and you are entitled to your own preferences. And if somebody tries to make you feel badly for your preferences,
Yeah.
you need to get rid of that person. You really do.
Okay, so can we use the word preference instead of judgment? Like get rid of that word?
Yeah, I think that people just conflated it because it was convenient to silence people and try to manipulate them.
Ah, to manipulate.
Yes, I think it's just a form of psychological manipulation. Now, I've been a counselor for many years, and Amy, you've been a counselor as well. There is a manipulation that comes when it is that you're trying the Jedi mind trick on people
Yeah.
while you say, "Oh, you don't like this? It's because you're X."
Yeah.
Okay, I don't care about your labels. I know who I am,
Yes.
and it should not matter what you think that I am.
Yeah. True.
But let's talk about morals. What are the lessons that we learn? The morals are the lessons that you learn. What is the moral of the story? What is the moral of vanity? Well, we've seen the results of vanity in society. Facebook created a platform, Instagram created a platform, TikTok created a platform. Now everybody has one of these. They're on the platform toxifying the society because look at me, I'm so pretty and so on, right? And I can tell you that because I'm pretty, everybody should love me. And a lot of these people are toxic. They're toxifying young children with weak
Oh,
minds.
yeah.
Now, which is why it comes back to the family unit construct that I was telling you about. When the family fails, you produce weak-minded individuals that are led by people, which brings us to our first broadcast where we did about being a fan of people,
Yeah.
right? When you are weak-minded, you are led by what somebody says. You don't sit down and reason. Every time we have a show, I tell the audience, don't just listen to me. Sit down and think about it. Ponder. Utilize
Yeah.
the gray matter. Right? Is David full of BS or is he not? You got to sit down and think about it. What
Well,
you don't do is just follow blindly, but a lot of people do that. Spiritual leaders are notorious, and I'm talking about the religious leaders. And if you think I'm talking about you, I'm talking about you. Okay, right?
yeah.
They just take people down a particular path and people follow, and it's so sad to see.
Yeah,
It
but
really is.
it is sad to see. I guess, yeah, I guess maybe would you say that maybe not you,
Mm-hmm.
like religion for me probably was that path that I followed because everybody else was in my family was doing it and it was a standard. But
Okay,
can't you take the good and the bad out of it? Can you take the good?
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You're married, so this doesn't apply to you, but let's say on a generic, if a woman is over the age of 18 and she's walking about with her life and being whatever, I'm assuming that she would like the individual she's sexually active with, who she's going to reproduce with, to ask her to gain consent. Is that correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't read the part where Mary consented to be impregnated by Jesus, by the Holy Ghost. You see the problem. You see the problem. Wait, thou shalt not kill. But if you diss me, I'm definitely going to send a meteorite from space to burn up your entire geographical region, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh,
You see, so even in that, you could form an argument. Now, when I said that, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of Christians. He did not just bring the Bible into ill repute. Yes, because I think, I
yeah.
think. Therefore, I am thinking. Right. So I'm sure there's a lot of Christians out there who can reasonably debate with me on this topic. But then there's some other Christians out there. When I just said that,
Yeah.
they're already lighting their little lanterns and the pitchforks are sharpening. Yeah, where does this David guy live? This is the kind of thing that we're talking about, right? You have to question things, whether that's why you have a mind. So I'm
Yeah.
going to say that in the Old Testament, God was the original gangster. Okay?
Yes. He didn't
And
take
it's
shit from anybody.
correct. Everybody just got dead, right? You just see
Everybody
you
just
die, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Every holy book is like that, right? And I'm going to call them out. The Gita, like the war with Arjuna. He has this argument with Krishna in a chariot, where he's saying, these people are my family. This is just about land. Let them have the land. What's a big deal?
Yeah.
And Krishna is telling him, no, that's your land. We're going to get into this chariot. We're going to go over there. We're going to kill all of them, right? We're going to come back. The land will be yours and everything will be okay. You see, I even brought my bow and everything. You see, these are the kinds of things that you have to actually um, question and think about, right? The Quran
Yeah.
is replete with a number of violent encounters, right? The Prophet Muhammad, and whenever you say that, people are frightened because, like whatever, I'm not frightened, however, because I do know my Quran very well. The
Yeah.
Prophet Muhammad was involved with 65 military campaigns in Medina and around Medina in his lifetime. Okay, so let me explain to you 65 wars in your lifetime. My man, what? Okay, right? But then you say peace be upon him. These are the kinds of things that I want to actually debate scholars on these things, because you see, I might just be simplistic, right? But
Yeah.
when you talk to religious people, you can't have a discussion about it.
Have you tried?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And they usually tell you, but the good book says,
Oh, but the good book says.
for those of
Well,
you who are Christian, I'm going to just quote the passages for you. Christian, Ezekiel 9, verses 9, all the way down. Just read that whole verse. Tell me if you know any gangsters who speak exactly like that. Kill the old men, the young children, right? The women, kill everybody that doesn't have that mark. Because let me tell you, they disown God and they need to die. Seriously, come on, guys.
yeah. He was just cleaning house.
Oh, he was just cleaning house, kind of like spring cleaning. You have a little duster, you're just dusting off people. Look,
I okay.
what are the morals? These are what is the moral of that story? You discard, you're dead. Old Testament. New
But
Testament, New Testament. Well, this is what kills me, right? I'm using Christianity, but I can use any religion. In the New Testament, it's like, I'm not going to kill y'all right now, because I already flooded the place. I can promise y'all that y'all going to die by fire. But here's what. I'm gonna just have my son go and die horribly for y'all instead.
oh, yeah.
Somebody help me out here. What did I miss?
I don't know. How does he go from New Old Testament to New Testament that quickly?
Mm.
Yeah, like what happened in between there?
Mhm.
What happened in between there?
Between
What did
the old
Yeah,
and the new.
yeah, the
Yeah,
blank that we
well,
don't even
because of
know.
a theologian, I can actually help you with that. Between
Okay.
the Old Testament and New Testament is a big blank, gaping
Yes.
chasm where 30 years of Jesus' life just jumps to 30. He was born in a manger and he jumps to 30
Yes.
years old. So in between that time, he clearly didn't go through puberty and so on, and he may not look. Okay, I don't want to get into this
I
kind of religious discussion. I would love to get into this religious on a different broadcast, but I need a theologian here
Yeah, yeah,
who
yeah.
can debate this with me, because let me tell you, jump from manger to 30 years old. And I'm guessing that when you're young, you make mistakes. You commit acts of sin, correct? Theoretically,
Yeah,
because you don't know
theoretically.
any better.
Right.
But we
Yeah,
don't get to see that.
I visually saw the Bible with, like, these 30 blank pages in the middle of it. I actually saw that,
What
that's why I
happened?
said that.
What
Like,
happened in between? All
what
right.
happened?
And then you have that nightmarish story in Revelation, which is not much better.
Mm.
So the last time the whole world got drowned, and this time we're just going to like burn y'all alive. All of y'all, it'll die by fire. Okay, all right, we get the message. We'll be good.
Well, that's what I mean. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, didn't people know that did they not know, like, did they not see the previous that happened before that? That we are not supposed to act like this? That we
I mean,
I don't know. It
even
it
it's even in our popular culture. Is it moral for Santa Claus to tell you you better be good, you better not cry?
Oh.
Is it good for Santa Claus?
Oh, that one? I
Yeah,
know.
you got this overweight bearded individual climbing down people's chimneys somehow, right? But the kids who are bad, you're not getting no gifts, all right?
Coal.
All
You're
right,
getting
you,
coal.
you better be good. What is the name of that? How does that song go? You
You
better be
better
good.
not you better
Shout
not
and
cry.
cry. Correct. You better not shout. You better not cry. Right. Why? Because
Santa
Santa Claus is coming to
went to
town,
town.
and yeah,
And he's
so
bringing
you
his
might be
people.
the only kid on that block. You,
Oh, the parents that used to threaten the kids. It's like, "No, don't do that. Make it more magical." Once Christmas is over,
no,
the
but
kids
one
are
thing,
gonna go
no, but it
back.
worked, Amy. It worked.
It
All
did
right.
work. It
I'm
did
sorry, you
work.
shouting? Well,
I am
no gifts for you. I mean, all right. These are the kinds of things that we so funny. And the tooth fairy, you just put it underneath your pillow. You got this tooth fairy who comes and says, "Yeah, I'll pay you for that tooth." Oh boy!
wonder what
And,
she does with them.
and then your kid grows up to sell their body on the streets, and you're wondering why. It started with a tooth.
Oh, that's
Oh well, the tooth fairy gave me a quarter for my tooth.
Why, I could sell other parts. I don't know, but that's so true. We don't know what the kids think.
What? Listen,
Oh my
right? You
goodness.
don't know
Oh
what
my
you're teaching your kids. So, like, honestly, you gotta think. What about now? Let's talk about morale. How does it improve morale for society to be in this state? Most people they don't even talk anymore. They don't have they don't
yeah,
have discussions anymore
yeah.
because the morale is killed. They're like, when I was growing up, this used to be wrong. Now this is right, and I don't
I'm
understand why.
and I'm confused. Oh, also, how do you prioritize your moral principles? If
Meaning
you
what?
come into if you come into conflict, should I be honest with this person or should I protect someone's feelings? What about that?
Mm. I suppose it depends on how would you view yourself? When you come into contact with these moral dilemmas, the best advice I can give to anybody is stand outside yourself,
Yeah.
look at yourself, and ask yourself, if I protect that person's feelings, I'm going to be known as a kind person. But if I don't say the truth, I'm going to be known as a dishonest person. This is the choices that you have. You
Yeah.
have to choose which one you want to
Oh.
be known as. So look, when you have these moral dilemmas, you need to stand outside yourself and see the ultimate consequences of each choice, right? If I do not say the truth, I am dishonest. But if I kind of don't say the truth again, I might be seen as kind. Which one do I want to be? There are lots of kind people that are dishonest as hell.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be about what, 50% of the people who go to church? Kind, wonderful people, but they may be racist, sexist. What else? Have a whole bunch of biases on board with regard to people. Okay,
Which
like
yeah.
there's certain religious groups that were predominantly either Caucasian or depending on what European country. And if somebody of mixed race or color walked into their church, it would be with an air of, we're tolerating you because of God, not because of ourselves.
Yeah, because they're in the church. Interesting.
You understand? So there are lots of kind people
Wow. I
that
like that.
are dishonest people and outright bad people. Okay, because they're kind within a particular situation, but they're not kind universally. That's where the universal application comes in.
Hmm.
But what it does for society, it means that you can't trust anybody anymore.
Yeah. Well, you can't trust anybody anymore?
Well, you can't, because the truth of the matter is, if I say something to you and I ask you, Amy, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And you say, well, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, based on the situation, and you're being vague, and I'm listening to you, and I'm like, you see, this is why I like talking to you, because when I ask you what you think, you just tell me what you think. How many people
I
like that are there out there, right? Where you ask them a question and they go blank because they don't want
yeah.
to offend anybody. They don't
Yeah.
want to. talk. They don't want to say what's on their mind because, oh my God, whatever the case may be. And I like people, once again, that just say what's on their mind. At least they're honest. Love
I
them or hate them,
I
they are honest. And I could
I
trust an honest person.
right? I mean, that is my Irish grandmother. That was her. I think that's where I learned it from.
I'm glad that she taught you that.
I know, right? Not that I knew what she was teaching me, but now, as you said that, I'm getting it. That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
That's really where I got it from. So take that like your ancestors, good or bad, they taught you something. Take that, what's
Yeah.
good.
Good, bad, and ugly. And I think
Yeah.
there's a revolution against I think there's a revolution now against the old ways of doing things.
Yes. That's why we're vintage.
Yeah, I think there's a revolution, like there's a whole progressive revolution against, oh, the old ways of doing things were unkind and this and so on. No, they actually got us to where we are now, and
Yeah.
in terms of development and so on. And if you try to dismantle the fabric of society, you also have to dismantle the moral structure of society.
Hmm.
Okay? I think people conflate kindness and compassion with mollycoddling.
What? Say
They
that again.
they conflate kindness and compassion
Hmm.
with coddling
Oh,
people. And
cod.
I do not like this construct.
Yeah, the coddling of people.
No, you shouldn't, because the truth of the matter is everybody in this world has a right, first of all, to express themselves, right? But everybody in this world should develop some sort of hardiness about them, because I believe that is how um, you become a stronger person.
Yeah, because coddling actually suppresses.
Yes, it makes
It's
everybody weaker as a result of it. It makes society weaker.
weaker, and then you don't have that critical thinking.
Correct.
We've
Like,
lost it.
yes, and then you just follow, and then we have a society of people on TikTok actually assaulting people because they are the main character in the whole universe's story, right? Right? Like
Yes.
the gym toxic people and the YouTube prank people. This is an example of toxicity. There should be jail time for that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You gotta learn to leave people alone sometimes. Yeah.
You do. You do. It's discernment. It always comes down to discernment for you. What's best for you? To say something or walk away?
And then it depends
I
on
don't know. Yeah,
situation.
that
I think
depends.
because everybody's under threat to not speak their minds.
Yeah.
I'm extremely fortunate in that I have people around me who always speak their minds.
Yeah.
And I generally tend to not have people around me who can't talk and say what's on their minds. The problem is that a lot of people, however, unfortunately, having said that, there are very few people around me that can engage in a debate about what they believe in, right? Apart from yourself and a few others, Amy, people just don't have anything to say anymore.
Yeah, they don't. Don't. I remember debating with you. Debating.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. Debating with you was like I really wasn't speaking how I should because it felt like you were judging me.
Uh
If
huh.
I said, yeah. And then it's like, oh no, damn it, Amy, no, and then it was like, you didn't care. You didn't
Uh,
care. Once I said it, I'm like, here I am thinking, my God, he's gonna think that I'm immoral or something. I don't know, or I'm old fashioned or I'm vintage or whatever. And I'm like, who cares? Who cares what David thinks? Who cares?
this is how people learn, by communicating with people and opening your mouth and saying what you believe.
Yeah, and
Look,
by heart.
we could go on for hours on this topic.
I
Look,
I know.
I will quote Frank Sinatra from the 1940s. And you know this quote already because I've
Uh-huh.
quoted to you
I
several
know.
times. It goes, but what is a man or woman, what has he or she got? If not himself, then he has not. To say the things he truly feels and not the words of one who kneels. Right?
Ah,
Powerful verse.
yes.
Are you the kind of person that says what you truly feel, or are you the kind of person who just kneels? Think about that for a moment, dear audience, as you're watching this broadcast, and
Yeah.
process it.
Yeah.
Don't just take our word for it. You could just process it on your own.
You could. You could. Hey, so can I do a social cue before we go?
No, we could do fine. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had other things to say, but this may be a good one to, hold on, I just had it. Where was it, Amy? Sorry. Okay. Maybe this is a morality kind of thing. So my boss has started sharing incredibly personal details about their marriage and finances during one-on-one meetings, making me very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
I value my job, but I don't know how to politely redirect the conversation without appearing disengaged.
So let me get this straight. This individual's boss is sharing personal
Yes.
information during a business meeting.
Yes. Whether this is a woman or a man, I don't know. Man to man, woman to woman,
Um,
man,
I
woman.
think that the best thing in that situation would be to have a discussion with your boss, right?
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to let that go on,
Right.
um, because it does not help the business meeting, and it makes you lose respect for the person who is complaining about their wife or their situation at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it's an act of selfishness on the boss's part as well,
Yeah. What
utilizing
it,
the employees as a sounding board.
yes. Yes.
Right. So I think that a personal discussion, one-on-one discussion in a room should be a good idea. You don't do it publicly. Don't try to do it publicly or in the business meeting. All right. But when the business meeting is concluded, you pull the boss aside and you say, "Hi, can I talk to you about something? Look, ABC or XYZ, I have lots of respect for you, but I just need to tell you that the information that you're sharing in in the business meeting is kind of weirding us out a little bit, right? I'm just letting you know that, right?
Yeah.
Do with this information what you would like.
And what would, I mean, you could do that with personal one-on-one too with people,
Correct.
right? Even with personal information, like, I'm uncomfortable listening to this. You could just say that. I'm uncomfortable listening to this. This is none of my business.
Correct. Because not everybody wants to get involved in your
Right.
personal stuff.
Yeah. All right. That was fun.
Yeah. I think we have a couple of announcements. The first
Yes.
announcement is that we are up and running. We got all the AI software for businesses. If you have a business, you might
Mm-hmm.
want software for your business and you do not want to be exploited. And one of the things that we did was we created a bunch of business software for you guys. We have content creators, we have image creators for those of you who want to master your social media accounts. We have design tools. We have a number of content management systems. Okay. And we have a number of tools even for doing the stuff that we're doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Podcasting and so on. We have all those tools available for you guys. If you are a wellness professional or a medical professional, we have medical diagnostic tools in there as well. And I can assure you that you will not get those tools at a cheaper price anywhere,
Yeah.
right? So head over to https semicolon / / I could just simply say shop, SHOP dot onexxa.com, right, for our merchandising store.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put that on screen the next time. We're going to put this as Ars Essentia, DESSENTIA.org and put shop.arsessentia.org. Okay? You can find the information in the description underneath this video. Otherwise, guys, this has been a good discussion.
This
We
was
want
good.
you guys to sit down, think about it. And if you want to debate us, send us an email and come on the show and debate us directly.
Yes, come on the
I
show.
don't like anything that you say, David. I don't like
I
anything that you say, Amy.
know.
We hate
Yeah.
your show.
Yes, please. That would be good. Well, until next time, guys, keep it unscripted.
Keep it unscripted, guys. Take
Bye.
care. Hey guys, this is David Hurd, just letting you guys know that we've completed 2 online stores for your convenience and for your budget. The first is our software store, which is at shop.onexa.com. We've grouped all the AI tools that we've created, including a tool that will allow you to actually create employees for your business. The second is the shop.arsessentia.org store, where you can buy merchandise as well as self-improvement courses for yourself. These courses are internationally accredited by world bodies such as the Yoga Alliance, the International Association of Counselors and Therapists, and so on. Yeah, guys, so just check out our store and let us know what you think. And remember, if there's anything that you don't see in the store, we can absolutely custom build these tools for you. So if your business has a specific absolute requirement, we can build stuff for you from scratch. Okay? Check out our store, guys, and let us know what you think. Take care.